morning, everyone. As always, I thank you for attending today's monthly service for December 2018. This is the last monthly service for the year. I hope each of you are enjoying good health and excellent spirits as we look forward to welcoming the new year of 2019. In our November monthly service, I talked about the most important concept of our final faith that I had learned during my trip to Japan. Our final faith practice respect everything that happens honorably as Kami's doing was born when he accepted Konjin's request through his brother Shigemon's mouth in 1857. It was very hard to do so for other people because it was a request from a demented person. However, our founder had eagerly thought Kami's heart at that time, so he accepted it with respect as the sacred working of Kami. Today, I would like to talk about another important lesson that Kami taught me during the trip to Japan. I arrived at the Konko Church of Chicago in the evening on October 11th. The next morning, just when I offered my prayer at 4 a.m., I received the following revelation from Kami. My common sense, my wife's common sense. One of our founder teachings says, practice faith in your own house, receive blessing from Kami, and save others. I had thought it stale and seemed not to make much of it until then, because I had still thought faith training would be something hard. However, after I received this revelation from my common sense, my wife's common sense, I strongly realized the importance of this teaching of our founders. The very place where we practice faith to develop peace and joy in our heart is our house. We often put our heart into disorder at our home. Our home usually consists of husband, wife, and their children. They all have their own personalities. They are different from each other. My common sense is different from my wife's. Even though both practice the same faith, their way of thinking about faith is not the same. My common sense sometimes clashes with my wife's over even a small matter. That is when each heart is disturbed. However, we often overlook or pass through without notice, even though our heart is actually disturbed. We don't have to neglect it if we really pursue the unbreakable peace and joy in our heart. I now clearly understand the reason why my wife and I often clash our heart with each other. Kami taught me it was because we have different ideas and values. So many men, so many minds. Each person has their own common sense. In order to gratefully avoid these clashes, the best way is to accept everything as Kami's sacred doing. Our founder did his best to see Kami's heart. Then he realized everything that happened is Kami's sacred doing. He respected each and every happening in his life as Kami's sacred work to deepen his heart towards his unbreakable peace and joy. Then he gave his following farewell poem to his older son, Hagio Konko, in 1883, the final year of our founder. The true way of Konko makes the world bright, shine through heaven, and will last forever. I believe you now clearly understand the essence of our founder's faith. When we come across such clashes that happens through the differences of common senses, it will be the best to think of every happening as a sacred working given by Kami. That is, Kami makes someone do so, or Kami lets us see it, instead of thinking he or she is doing, or we see him or her doing such things. When we understand that everything that happens is Kami doing, and respect each and every happening in our life honorably as Kami doing with gratitude, we don't need to clash with each other. Our heart need to be disturbed anymore. I'm not devoting myself to respecting each and every happening as Kami's sacred doing to deepen peace and joy in my heart. Through daily happening, Kami has trained me to have an idea of Kami's common sense. The other day, thieves entered our church in a shrewd trick. A stranger knocked at the door. He said that his family moved at the corner and came to pay his respect to the neighbors. He also said his job was to make repair on the house and has some suggestion to improve our house. He asked me and my wife to come out in the backyard. I went to a backyard with him from the front door, and my wife came out from the back door. He pointed out the part we should fix and gave some good advice. I told him that we could not afford to repair anything right now, but would ask you to do so when the time came, because it was good advice. Then we parted. Then I entered our church from the front door. At first, I was surprised to know it was open, because my wife was always cautious about locking the doors. She also was very surprised to see me entering from the front, because she thought she had locked that front door. Suddenly, she shouted, "He must be a thief." She found her handbag and mine open, and her purse and mine thrown away. Another thief entered our church from the front door and tried to steal anything while we are talking with the other person in the backyard. He searched even under our bed. They stole around $100 from my bag and only $4 from my wife's. To our surprise, they couldn't find any of Daiji's cash, even though his $400 were placed in an open area casually. Fortunately, the thieves stole only cash. They didn't steal our card, which might have caused terrible trouble to us. We still don't know how someone entered our church through the front door without breaking the door knobs. Whenever I go to bed, I lock the front door at 2 places, and I think it is enough. My wife always places a chair and a board behind the door later. She is such a cautious person. I am the one who unlocks the front door before praying between heaven and earth at 4 a.m. every morning. I have to remove the chair and the board. Whenever I did so, I thought it was troublesome. My wife's common sense was different from mine. I have always wished my wife would not put them behind the door. However, after I knew that thief easily entered our church from the locked front door, I have removed them and locked the door before 4 a.m. every morning with gratitude. I now believe Kami sent the thief for me to respect anything that my wife does or says as Kami's sacred doing. That is, Kami let her do or say such things. Kami wishes everyone to have unbreakable peace and joy in their heart, because through those hearts, Kami's glory manifests in this world. Every time I offer my prayer, not only in front of the altar, but in my heart at any place and at any time, here's my main prayer right now, that I may accept each and every happening as Kami's sacred doing, gracefully, brightly, and thankfully, like a founder and Reverend Otsubo. Then let me develop unbreakable peace and joy in my heart, open this true way of Konko to the whole world.